This is a podcast from the Daughters to Online Radio Company. There are some terms and conditions regarding its use. Probably. We hope you enjoy it, and if you do, maybe you would enjoy other podcasts. Welcome to the Daughters to Online Radio Company.
Hello and welcome to the DORC podcast. I'm pretty sure I say that every week. Remind me to try something else next time. Perhaps something not in English. This week's hello is to the two people in Germany who download us. Danke. And to them and to everyone else who listens, might we ask that you give us a review on iTunes. Unless of course you're going to give us a review that's less than 3 stars and say something that's better suited to a YouTube comment, then you can keep that to yourself. So on with the show, and this week we had something of a scoop for the network, thanks to a friend of mine who works in the Home Office. There were 2 big stories this week. One was about the interbank lending rates being fixed by Barclays, and most probably all of the other banks, and then CERN went and announced that they were pretty sure that they'd seen evidence for the existence of the much predicted Higgs boson. For 40-something years, Peter Higgs predicted, together with the standard model of quantum physics, that there was something that would endow objects with mass, well, about 1% of it anyway. The former theoretical particle is sometimes referred to as the God particle, and has been misinterpreted by many. Originally, due to its elusiveness, it was referred to as the goddamn particle, but the publisher of the paper lost confidence in this and shortened it to the God particle. Now, we would have covered those stories in tremendous forensic detail, but both subjects are almost impenetrable. The banking makes virtually no sense to us, but we do know that the fine that Barclays paid is considerably less than the profits that they made doing the things that may or may not be illegal. And the physics stuff, well, we just managed some poor jokes, like how many physicists does it take to find a boson? Many hundreds working together for many, many years with the world's most complicated machine. You can see why we didn't go into stand-up comedy now, can't you? So, those stories we didn't cover. However, here is a clip from our mid-morning phone-in show. I'll let the presenter set it all up for you. Coming up later on the show, the nature or nurture debate has reared its head again in the wake of the Barclays banking scandal. We ask, are you born a massive, greedy, narcissistic, self-obsessed, moralist uber tool, or does getting a job in investment banking make you that way? Also, with various athletes from Mario Baratelli to Novak Djokovic getting taken in by kineso tape that is nothing more than placebo tape, we ask, are only really stupid people good at sport? Also, Gordon Ramsay. Why? So, Home Secretary Theresa May is going to be altering the test taken by foreign nationals who wish to become British citizens. The Life in the UK test was introduced by Labour in 2005 and was not liked by the Tories as they felt it focused on the wrong things. Mrs May is understood to have scrapped the sections of the test which dealt with claiming benefits and the Human Rights Act. The Tories don't really like the Human Rights Act, and they like people knowing about it even less. Instead, they've decided that the test should focus in the same direction as the government, firmly staring at the past. The time when they think Britain was great. The revised version will focus less on the practicalities of daily living in Britain and what people can bring to the exciting melting pot that is the UK, and require more knowledge of British history and its achievements, and, according to the Sunday Times, it will tell immigrants that, historically, the UK is a Christian country. Well, sort of true, since about 170 AD anyway. They will also be expected to know the first verse of the national anthem, but not the second, third, fourth or fifth verses. The ones that go on about vanquishing foes, scattering enemies and confounding their knavish tricks. This is a little bit like the American system, and I find that confusing as well. I'm curious as to why we need people who are coming here to know more about our history than we do. Let's be honest, most people's knowledge of our country's history is pretty poor. To me, this just sounds like some sort of triumphalism. See how we were great, and look at the things we did in the past. Although maybe, or maybe not, ignore some of the less savoury things we did to your country. We're in charge, bitch. Or at least we were. Having mentioned on Twitter earlier that we were going to be talking about, amongst other things, immigration-related issues, we have of course had a rather larger than usual number of callers. Let's hope not all of them are taxi drivers. Hello, you're on the air.
Hello, I am Dave.
And what do you do, Dave?
I am a taxi driver.
Of course you are. And what would you like to say?
This is like a great idea, you know what I mean?
Yes, Dave, despite your assault on the language, I did manage to decipher your more subtle meanings.
They should know about this country and that. They should know how to talk English.
As well as you do?
Definitely.
Well, what about the history quiz element?
Definitely, they should know all of that stuff.
Do you?
Hell yeah.
Oh, that's a testable claim. I happen to have a leaked copy of the test right here, thanks to a friend of mine who works at the Home Office. You want to try?
Okay.
Less confident now, aren't you? Right, let's crack on. Question 1. Which countries make up Great Britain?
England, Scotland, and Wales.
Correct. The UK, of course, includes Northern Ireland. Question 2. Which famous document eventually led to the formation of Parliament in England?
The Magna Carta.
Correct, you're doing well. 3. Who was the first Prime Minister?
Robert Walpole.
Excellent. You're in a pub quiz team, aren't you?
Yes.
I can tell. Question 4. How many people are estimated to have died during the partition of India and Pakistan by the ruling British?
Can I phone a friend?
No, answer the question.
I believe historians have settled on the nice round number of about 1 million.
That is correct, but estimates range from about 500,000 to 1.5 million people. That's people who died. Between 1968 and 1973, which island in the Indian Ocean had its entire population forcibly removed so that the US could build an airbase on what was once a lush tropical paradise? And for a bonus point, can you tell me which country ran the islands and therefore forced the population to leave?
I think that island would be Diego Garcia.
Correct. Well done. And for the bonus point?
That would be the British.
Yes it would. Well done. Another fine example of colonialism that lives on to this day. The islanders and their descendants have been very poorly treated by this country and the US, receiving very little in the way of compensation and suffering from innumerable delays in paying that money out. On the 1st of April 2010, the British Cabinet announced the creation of the world's largest marine protection area, which happened to include Diego Garcia. Many believe that this was done in order to put pay to anyone at all returning to the islands, a charge that has been strenuously denied by the UK government, but was confirmed by a leaked cable released in 2010 by WikiLeaks. Wikipedia says, quote, "The cable relays exchanges between the US Political Counsel Richard Mills and British Director of the Foreign and Commonwealth Office Colin Roberts, in which Roberts asserted that establishing a marine park would, in effect, put pay to resettlement claims of the archipelago's former residents. Robert Mill concludes, establishing a marine reserve might, indeed, as the FSO's Roberts stated, be the most effective long-term way to prevent any of the Chagos Islands' former inhabitants or their descendants from resettling in the territory." End quote. You're doing well so far. Want to carry on?
Yes, please.
Who said in 1920, "There is no need to exaggerate the part played in the creation of Bolshevism and in the actual bringing about of the Russian Revolution by these international and for the most part atheistic Jews. It is certainly a very great one. It probably outweighs all others. With notable exception of Lenin, the majority of the leading figures are Jews. Moreover, the principal inspiration and driving power comes from these Jewish leaders."
Hitler?
Ooh, good try. I can see where you were going with that, but it wasn't him. Do you want to know who it was?
Well, I am curious now.
It was Churchill.
Oh.
Okay, moving on. Which country set up mass concentration camps that held mostly women and children during the Second Boer War?
Would that be our country again?
Yes it would. Well done. Which country's army murdered 13 innocent people on what has become known as Bloody Sunday in Northern Ireland on 1972?
That would be the British Army, wouldn't it?
Yes. Okay, and last question. Which country kidnapped and exported more Africans into slavery than any other?
Oh God, was that us as well?
No. Trick question. It was Portugal, who are estimated to have transported 5 million people. No, we weren't that bad. We were second with an estimated 3.4 million.
God, we are awful.
We're awful. But hopefully we're better now. Although I do think we owe vast swathes of the planet an apology. Perhaps helping them escape poverty and persecution and living here for a bit might be a bit of a start. Well, you seem to have reached the pass mark on that test. You can now become a British citizen.
I'm not entirely sure that I want to be one now.
I think you might have a point. Here's Dave with the weather.
The Dorchester Online Radio Company is written by Martin Norris, produced by Martin Norris, and recorded in the front room of a house owned by Martin Norris. Please do feel free to give us a good review on iTunes, or Twitter and Facebook your friends to tell them about us. Thank you.